They say, they say I'm not a surgeon, they say I've never saved lives. No one ever needed me. They say I'm just crazy. They say she doesn't exist. My heart flies when I see her smile, but they say she's not real. I feel her breath around me, but they say she's an illusion. I see my real self deep there in her eyes, but they say it's all in my imagination. I read that book several times, but the food was salty. Oh yeah, my feet hurt a lot. Maybe she likes roses. They say I'm not clear, but the French fries are totally unhealthy. They say my speech was full of nonsense, but the movie was so sad. Mom is always mad at me. She asks for the remote, but I act deaf. Dad hates my bad attitude. He says it's impolite to ignore someone trying to shake hands with you. My boss never invites me to a meeting. He says that I'm stupid. I can't answer the customer's simple questions. My sister told me that I wasn't sad for Mom's death, but I loved her, and I will always do. She's my mom. I just have no explanation for my behavior. My brother says that I hate him because I couldn't be happy for his success. They say that was me. But I hate that guy. They say I'm crazy, but I'm just sick. It's not easy to be schizophrenic. Everything sounds logical to me, while nothing makes sense to everyone around me. It doesn't make sense, right? Well, that's the point. Hello everyone, I'm Sabrina, a medical student who decided to share with you her personal experience with psychiatry. This word is not really common in our society. It's that kind of science that most of us do not believe in, or just can't understand. Have you ever thought about understanding those you call fool, mhabil in our dialect? Were they born that way? Do you guys believe in science as much as you believe in sorcery? I guess not, because I used to think almost like all of you. Before I get to know the truth, I used to think that those people are maniacs, crazy, freaks, people I'm afraid of getting close to. But now I have totally a different idea. I didn't have a chance to get to know them, but I tried to know more about them through the words of my lesson paper. The thing I'm sure of is that those people have been through hell and still dealing with it in their minds every single day. They don't need isolation. They need help. They need care. They just need to be understood. The verses I read in the beginning was an example of a schizophrenic guy that I imagined based on the symptoms I learned from my lessons. Most of you won't understand the poem, just like they can't understand schizophrenia. I chose it because I believe it's one of the hardest mental disorders and the most misunderstood. I will mention the symptoms and try to explain each one. The guy here believes that he's a surgeon, while people around him keep telling him that he's not. This is what we call delusion. It's to think that you are someone you actually never been. This is the first symptom. He's living an imaginary relationship, but he can't see the girl, while no one else does. Actually, she became a real part of his life. This is hallucinations. It's the sensation of something which doesn't exist. Either you see, smell, or hear things or people that are not real. Now, the disorganized speech. It's when someone jumps from a topic to another without any logical transition. Just like our patient, who has been blamed for being unclear and saying nonsense. The disorganized or catatonic behavior is the fact that he can't respond in some specific moments, neither by moving nor even by a verbal reply. Finally, the negative symptoms. They are explained by apathy, emotional flatness, and lack of speech. It's when the patient seems to be emotionless, can't react properly to an emotional event, neither sad nor a happy one. In this case, our patient has been accused for being heartless, since he didn't show his sadness for his mom's death. In addition to those symptoms, schizophrenic people can behave in a very bizarre way. They can even become aggressive to their families. These symptoms are highly misunderstood. Their sudden appearance can be really confusing. That's why people tend to explain them according to their own logic and hardly ever think of them as symptoms. Let's talk numbers now. According to a study made by my psychiatry professor, Mr. Ammani, at Oran's Psychiatry Hospital, about the reaction of parents to their kids' disorder, starting from the appearance of symptoms to the first consultation with a psychiatrist. There were 20 parents, 10 fathers and 10 mothers. 71% of them interpreted it as possession. بالعربية مس. 20% thought about sorcery, سحر أو سحور. 4% explained it as bad eye, كما نقولوا ضربوه بعين. And only 5% of them thought about a mental illness. Those results prove the bad influence of the society on our thinking, which makes us believe in supernatural powers more than science. The period between the appearance of the symptoms and the first step to ask for help can go from 1 day to 3 years, with an average of 9 months. It's because of the ignorance and the denial of parents to their kids' mental disorder. After the decision to ask for help, what would be their destination? Well, 82% run to a motorboat, راقي ولا طالب. 12% go to a psychiatrist, and 6% of them choose to see a neurologist. Even the second destination, means the psychiatrist, can take from 7 days to 4 years. Means to see the right therapist, it can take an average of 11 months. All this delays the diagnosis and can affect badly the prognosis of the patient. Those were some proved facts, I mean statistics. But if we talk about the way our society behaves, we'll see much of unconsciousness. The attitude of people around is the reason why parents do not dare to see a psychiatrist. They prefer their kid to be called possessed, rather than being called crazy. Let's talk a bit about parents and how they feel about the whole thing. According to the same study, most of them start showing symptoms of depression and/or anxiety. It begins with a feeling of distress, grief, loss of their kid, sadness, guilt, and social withdrawal. Psychologists explain that by the narcissistic desire of parents that will be completed by their kids. Like the kid carries the parent's ideal self. So the mental disorder causes them a deep narcissistic injury, aggravated by the negative socio-cultural representation of the mental illness. People say lunacy, madness, insanity. يا ناس، الفصام أو انفصام الشخصية مرض خطير، مشي سحر ولا مس ولا هبال، مرض وعنده دواء. مشي قال لي عنده مرض عقلي أو نفسي نقولوا عليه مهبول. هادو ناس راهم يعانوا. تخيل روحك عايش مع ناس ما كاينينش، والناس اللي عايش معاهم بالصح ما تنجمش تتعامل معاهم. تشوف صوالح غينتا، واللي معاك يقولوا لك ما كانش منهم، وانت عقلك مأمن بيهم. ما تفهم روحك، ما تفهم اللي دايرين بيك. العقل مشي ساهل كي توشا. ارحموهم شوية، لي فيهم يكفيهم، وقفوا معاهم، ساعفوهم، ما تخلوهمش يحسوا رواحهم في دوامة وحدهم وما كانش لي سلكهم. وأول خطوة باش يريحوا هي كي يشوفوا طبيب مختص. شجعوهم ودعموهم باش يتعالجوا. Give them hope. That's all what they need from you.